Hello my friends, welcome to the second video of the Labour Law of the Trade Union Act. Now my friends, I, Forum Patel, would like to revise the last session that we did. In the last session, we discussed about the history of the trade unions in India. Along with that, the importance of the labour laws in the country. Now my friends, when we talked about the history of the trade unions in India, we did discuss about the Trade Unions Act. Now the Trade Union Act 1926, my friends, it of course came with certain objectives. There is no single legislation which would have been established which does not have the objectives of the legislation. So friends, let's get started with the very basic understanding of the objectives of the Trade Union Act. Now my friends, when we are talking about the establishment of this act in our country, I did mention very minutely that this act faced a little bit difficulty when it was getting established. So, it was very important for everybody in the country to understand the basic objective of the act that it carried with it. So, on the screen as you see, there are basic 4 objectives of this act. The first one is that to relieve the trade union from some civil and criminal liability. The second one is to provide for the system of voluntary registration of the trade union for the adoption of the adequate rules. The next one, my friends, is that keeping the audit of the proper and also of the proper accounts and filing of the annual returns. And the last one is registered trade unions were given power and advantages and not the unregistered trade unions. Now friends, if you see all these 4 objectives at large, you will be able to understand that the Trade Union Act was established with that view in the mind that if the trade unions are registered, we should be able to give them certain extra benefits for the registered trade union so that the registration process is kick-started and it is boomed in the country. If it is registered, then the whole governance would become very easy. If the governance is easy, then keeping the track would become easy. And of course, as I mentioned, that keeping the audit and proper accounts would be there in its own place. That would provide a very easy and buttery way for all the trade unions to work in a very organized manner. If the trade unions are not registered, my friends, it becomes very difficult to keep the track. And so, the Act provided another feather to the registered trade unions. Now friends, that never meant that the unregistered unions were not protected. Of course, they were protected. Their rights were of course mentioned, but their rights were not as protected as of the registered trade unions. The registered trade unions were given extra rights and privileges, if I may use the word. So friends, let's get started with the understanding of the very important terms which are used in the Act. So of course, my friends, the first definition would be of the trade union. Under the Trade Unions Act, Section 2, Subclause H, the word trade union has been described and defined. The trade union means any combination, whether temporary or permanent, which is formed primarily for the purpose of the regulation of the relationship between the workmen and the employers, or between the workmen and the workmen, or between 2 employers for imposing restrictive conditions on the conduct of any trade business, and which includes the federation of 2 or more trade unions also. So my friends, if I am taking the liberty of dissecting the whole definition into different parts, it will become very easier for all of us to understand the same. So friends, let's get started with the dissections. The trade unions is a combination which is temporary or permanent. That means, my friend, that the trade union may be formed for the temporary objectives or with the temporary objectives or with the permanent objectives, for a short term or for a long term, which is basically primarily for the purpose of regulating the relationships. Now my friends, as we talked before, that the relationship which are governed under the trade union is between the workers and the employers largely. Now, if we get into the details, it is very important that the relationship of 2 workers and also the 2 employers, or rather 2 workers and the employers, it is also managed. So, under the trade union's definition, every relationship aspect is covered. That means, my friends, that the basic objective which has been defined under this section is that the relationship between two different worker and the employers, or rather two different employers, which imposes restrictive conditions on the conduct of any trade or business. When any such formation is there in existence, that may be called as a trade union. So my friends, it's a combination, permanent or temporary, for the primary objective of regulating the relationship of all these three classes, and between them which will be there in effect is what you call the trade union. The section of the definition of the trade union is section 2 subclause H. Now, when we are talking about the trade union's definition, my friends, it becomes very important that we discuss certain case laws where this definition may have been used. So, as you can see on the screen, there was one case of Tamil Nadu NGO Union versus Registrar, of course, of the trade union, which was an association of the magistrates of the judiciary, tehsildars, etc., which was not a trade union because these people were engaged in sovereign and regular functions of the state, where they were inalienable functions. So the question in this case was that whether their formation can be called as the trade union or not. So my friends, now you discuss and you decide upon the same thing. Their purpose is basically to give the functionings, to regulate the functionings, or rather to work for the sovereign. Now, when we are talking about the trade unions, we are saying that it is a combination which is formed primarily for the purpose of regulation of the relationship between the workmen and the employers, or between the workmen and two different employers, for the restrictive conditions on the conduct of any trade and business. So friends, can we call this part a trade and business? So the answer to this is no. So who will decide the same thing? Appropriate government, of course. So that gives a kickstart to the next definition, which is of the appropriate government under section 2. Now in relation to the trade unions whose objects are not confined to one state, the appropriate government is the central government. In relationship to the trade unions, the appropriate government is of course the state government. Now when we are talking about the word executive under the act, it would mean and include the body of which the management of the affairs of a trade union is entrusted. Now, when we are discussing that the relationship between all these classes should be maintained under the act, that means there should not be any trade dispute between them. So friends, it becomes very important for all of us to understand the meaning of the trade dispute. The term trade dispute has been defined under section 2 subclause G of the act. A trade dispute means any dispute between the employers and the workmen and the workmen and the employers and the employers, which is connected with the employment, or of course the non-employment, or the term of the employment, or rather the conditions of the labor of any other person. Workmen means all the persons employed in the trade or industry, whether or not in the employment of the employer with whom the trade dispute has arisen. That means, my friend, that of course if we dissect the same definition also again, we will come to know that it means that any dispute which arises between all these three different classes, and which is with regard to the employment, the non-employment, the different terms of the employment, the conditions of the laborers, etc., etc. So any issue which is there, which is with regard to the employment or other non-employment, would be covered under the definition of the trade dispute. So my friends, these were the very important terms which were very important for all of us to understand before we get started with the understanding of the whole Trade Unions Act. So friends, in the next session we shall be starting with the registration of the trade union under section 3. So friends, till then keep learning and stay tuned. Thank you.